A few years ago, my husband and I were very much into mountaineering. We're from the East Coast, as you can tell from my accent. And being on the West Coast, we felt like kids in a candy store. Mountains everywhere, and we went trekking in Central America, South America, and here as well. And then at some point, we decided to go do an 8-day traverse in the Rockies. So you go in somewhere, 8 days, come out. So we drive to Banff National Park, get the permits. It is late June, but it's a year where there was tons of snow. So late June there, you're on snow, basically. So we started, and at the end of the first day, towards the end of the first day, we had to cross a river. Not a very large one, 3 meters wide, but you know, it is the Rockies, so it's coming down a bit. So we pause at the river, we discuss plan A, plan B, and of course there's no human-made structure in this traverse, and there's nobody else on this traverse because everybody else thought there's too much snow. So we get to the river, we discuss and all, and then Nick crosses it, fine, and then I cross it, fine. So we keep going, and of course we're tenting, right? So day 2, day 3, day 4. By day 4, we're now fairly high up in the Rockies. So it now looks the way it looks like when we're flying over them, right? Just rocks, basically. And so we're out of the snow by then, right? So no snow, no river, no water. So at some point, I get severely dehydrated to the point where we have to pause and try to like put enough health in me to keep going. But I'm okay, sort of, but we can't be sure if we keep going that there is going to be water. And it is a traverse. So if we keep going, by then we're going to be at day 5, and now we don't have enough food to come back. So we made the decision to, instead of keeping going, to come back on our trace. So we do that, we come back, and eventually we're at day 8. So it is the day now that we're coming out. It's also the day where we hit that same river that we crossed the first time. Now this is day 8, right? We've been walking, we're carrying everything, blah, blah, blah. We're tired by then. So by that day, Nick, my husband, is carrying everything that's heavy that can fit in or on his backpack. He's got all the weight with him. And we're not even walking together. And it's not because we're fighting. It's because we're tired, right? And we have different paces. So he's a bit faster, he's in front of me, I'm a bit slower, I'm a bit behind, and waits for me, and we get to each other. So he gets to the river, crosses the river, I get to the river, look at the river, and try to talk to Nick. We can't hear each other. So the river looks the same, but it actually is way, way bigger than before, because it's June. There's lots of snow. Snow has been melting even more in those past 8 days. So the current is much stronger. So we can't hear each other. He's on the other side, and I'm here, okay. So we've got ski poles and everything, but still. So I think about my plan on how I'm going to do this, and then I go in. The first thing I know is I'm head down going in the water like this, and then I feel that force taking me by the backpack and throwing me outside of the river. And then we're on side 2 now of the river together. That was Nick, right, picking me up. He saw what happened, jumped in, and put me out. So now we're on this side of the river, and of course in that moment you're not talking, right, because you realize, God, this could have been my last day. Literally. And even when I tell the story, I sort of feel it in my knees a little bit. But the point is, what had happened there is we had let go in a moment where the demands were bigger, we were tired, we were not as focused as usual. We had let go of behaviors that usually protect us. We had let go of our resilience behaviors, of being together, talking to each other, taking care of ourselves even more, such that when bigger challenges happen, we can survive them more safely. And the point of this story is this is the same thing that happens to us in work life, in our life in general, right? When everything is fine, we're pretty good. We're strong, we're healthy, we're taking care of ourselves, we're doing those healthy things, all good, right? But the challenge happens when more demands happen, new ones, unexpected ones, more difficult ones, all at the same time, and usually they actually come from both work and personal life together. And that's the time where we let go of these things that usually would protect us. And therefore, all this hits us quite strongly. And I see that in my office also as a psychologist. The people I work with tend to be business owners, leaders, professionals. They're all very strong, resilient, fabulously healthy people. But then what happens at some point is those many more unexpected, larger demands happen from more fronts all at the same time. they get taken by surprise almost, because over time they let go of their protective behaviors, and then it starts hitting their health. So that's why protecting our resilience is so important. And this is what we're going to cover today.